Day 11 was one of those rare Grand Slam days that leaves a strange feeling behind. The tennis itself was often brilliant, but the way some matches ended added an element of frustration and what could have been. With semi-final spots on the line, emotions ran high, bodies were pushed to the limit, and the draw shifted in ways few would have predicted just a week ago. We saw a legend escape when defeat looked almost certain, a top seed fall in a surprisingly one-sided upset, and another reminder that consistency and execution in big moments matter more than raw power alone. As the tournament moves into its final stages, Day 11 felt like a turning point, both thrilling and bittersweet at the same time. The men's quarterfinal between Novak Djokovic and Lorenzo Musetti ended in deeply unfortunate fashion. For 2 sets, Musetti was simply outstanding. He played fearless, intelligent tennis, mixing pace, spin, and touch to constantly disrupt Djokovic's rhythm. Novak looked unusually flat, struggling with timing and making far more unforced errors than expected. His attempts to shorten points by coming to the net backfired repeatedly, and for long stretches, it genuinely felt like Djokovic was on his way out of the tournament. However, after Djokovic pulled back to a 3-1 lead in the third set, Musetti was forced to retire due to injury. It was a cruel ending to what had been one of the Italians' best performances on a Grand Slam stage. Djokovic advances to yet another semifinal, but this was not a win built on dominance. It was survival. Jannik Sinner continued his outstanding run in Melbourne with a straight sets victory over Ben Shelton, producing another composed and high-quality performance from the world number 2. It was an entertaining match with good intensity, but Sinner consistently looked more complete and in control. He handled Shelton's power extremely well, neutralizing the American's serve and forehand with depth and clean ball striking. From the baseline, Sinner dictated most of the rallies, moving Shelton side to side and forcing errors when points extended. Shelton competed and had his moments, but overall it was a fairly regular performance from him, and against a player operating at Sinner's level, that simply wasn't enough. Sinner's calm under pressure and ability to raise his level in key games made the difference. On the women's side, the shock of the day came as Elena Rybakina eliminated world number 2 Iga Swiatek in straight sets, 7-5, 6-1. The match never fully settled for Swiatek, who struggled badly on serve and looked increasingly frustrated as errors piled up. Her usual intensity and precision were missing, especially in longer rallies where she normally thrives. Rybakina, on the other hand, was calm, composed, and ruthless when opportunities appeared. She served with authority, stepped inside the court confidently, and controlled the tempo with her flat, powerful ground strokes. Once she edged the tight first set, the second became one-way traffic. It was a reminder of how dangerous Rybakina is when she's healthy and confident. This was very much the level that defined her strong run last season. Another upset followed as Jessica Pegula defeated Amanda Anisimova 6-2, 7-6 in a match where discipline made all the difference. Pegula came in with a clear plan and executed it almost flawlessly. Her serve held up well throughout, particularly in pressure moments, while she consistently forced Anisimova to play one extra shot. Anisimova had stretches where her power looked overwhelming, but the unforced errors crept in at the worst times, especially as rallies extended. Pegula stayed calm, absorbed pace, and waited for openings rather than forcing the issue. The second set was much tighter, but Pegula's composure in the tiebreak proved decisive. It was a mature, professional win that highlights why she remains one of the most reliable performers at this level. Now let's analyze the semifinals. Carlos Alcaraz versus Alexander Zverev is shaping up to be one of those semifinals that feels impossible to predict. Their head-to-head is tied at 6-6, and almost every match between them has been competitive, physical, and full of momentum swings. Alcaraz comes in as the slight favorite because of his form and the way he's been dominating opponents with his forehand, movement, and ability to change rhythm mid-rally. That said, this is his first ever semifinal at the Australian Open, so handling the moment and the pressure will be a real test. The result sets up the blockbuster semifinal everyone has been waiting for, Jannik Sinner versus Novak Djokovic. It's easily the match of the day, if not the tournament. Sinner comes in full of confidence, having dropped very few sets and showing consistency across all areas of his game. Djokovic, meanwhile, arrives with less court time, but plenty of questions after an up-and-down tournament so far. The head-to-head stands at 6-4 in favor of Sinner, which adds an extra layer of intrigue to this rivalry. It's a clash between momentum and legacy, and the outcome could define the entire tournament. The first semifinal sets up a compelling and emotional matchup between Elina Svitolina and Aryna Sabalenka, Ukraine versus Belarus. Off the court, the context is unavoidable, and Svitolina is unlikely to shake hands after the match, as she has consistently chosen not to do so against Belarusian players since the war began. On court, Sabalenka holds a clear 5-1 head-to-head advantage, largely due to her superior power and ability to dictate with serve and first-strike tennis. However, Svitolina arrives in outstanding form, playing aggressive yet disciplined tennis, defending extremely well and converting pressure into control. If Svitolina can absorb pace and extend rallies, she has a real chance to make this match very tight. Looking ahead, the women's semifinals now offer a fascinating storyline, particularly the clash between Elena Rybakina and Jessica Pegula. Their head-to-head stands at 3-3, underlining just how evenly matched they are. Rybakina brings raw power, height, and first-strike tennis, while Pegula relies on consistency, anticipation, and tactical clarity. With both players in strong form and confidence high after big quarterfinal wins, this semifinal feels wide open and could easily go the distance. As the Australian Open moves deeper into its final stretch, there's no room left for comfort. The big names are still alive, but the gap between favorites and challengers has almost disappeared. New faces have earned their place, belief is growing across the draw, and every match now feels like a final. From here on, it's about handling pressure, seizing moments, and surviving the toughest days of the tournament. That's what Day 11 of the Australian Open delivered. If you enjoy the summary, leave a like and subscribe. See you tomorrow.